All right. So now I don't think it will be possible for me to go all the way in each circuit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the basic circuit, and then from there you can do it later. So first of all, the first circuit is, this is the circuit that we're going to solve. So let's say, let's level each diode. Okay, D1, D2, D3, and there are voltage source, so many voltage source. So, and I said that any terminal voltage means it is measured with respect to ground. The first thing that we should be doing is to complete the circuit. How to complete the circuit? So that is our 10 volt. This is our 5 volt, and this is 0. Already I said, what does that mean? It is grounded, and this is minus 5 volt. Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm going to do, I am copy this and take it here. Up. Okay, so that it is easy for me to.
স্যার আমরা D3 ডায়োডটাকে D2 এর পাশ দিয়ে একদম সরাসরি গ্রাউন্ডে পুট করে দিতে পারি না?
I will do that. We'll do that.
Okay.
So now we need to do further simplification. That's why I brought it over here. So ten volt, then D1, then resistor, then D2, and then another resistor, and then so I can draw it nice. So this means, so this point is connected to the N side. So if I draw in this way, so this is connected to the N side, and the P side is connected to the ground. And then D3, so this is how we can simplify or redraw the circuit. So D1 and 8.2K, D2 5 volt, 12K, D3 10K, and 5 volt. Okay, so this is how I have, yeah.
Sir, D3 direction এরকম upwards হলো কেন downwards না হয়?
I redraw it. You see, this is the point, okay, and this is the ground. So isn't that good to bring
Yes,
all the
sir.
ground এক জায়গাতে গ্রাউন্ড গুলো নিয়ে আসা ভালো না?
হ্যাঁ
So
স্যার।
if I want to do these things, how should we do these things? So I'm going to,
Oh,
you can think
sir,
of that. I can
বুঝতে
pull it down here, pull the whole things down here. If I pull it all the whole things down there, so this point is connected to what? N side or P side? This point?
Sir, answer.
So which point?
N
N side.
So this point is connected to N side, and P side is connected to what? P side is connected to the ground. So P side is
Ground.
connected to the ground.
Oh yes sir, yes sir.
You get that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine. So let's say I want to determine the conduction state. Also, I want to determine the current. Let's say if I show this current, and I assign the current such that it's always okay. Let's say I go for arbitrarily. So I1, okay, I2, I3, I4, I5. You see, they are all arbitrary. And in that case, I1, I selected it to be flowing from, assume it to be flowing from P to N, but I2, which direction I have assumed?
N to P.
N to P. So that means when you can go for assumption, you can do any assumption, N to P, but I4, P to N. Okay. So about I3 and I5, since the current is not flowing through any diode, we don't need to worry about this direction. So next, let's assume all the diodes are on. Assume
স্যার আরেকটা কোয়েশ্চেন
Sure.
ছিল স্যার I2 টা স্যার ডাউনওয়ার্ডস হচ্ছে কেন স্যার P থেকে ইনফ্লো করলে স্যার আপওয়ার্ডস হবে না
these are the assumed current. This is my guess. This is not the real current.
ওকে
So when you
স্যার
go for assumption, if I ask you to assume anything, will you be guided by my thought? You can assume anything, right? Na?
Yes, sir, like-
Yes, sir.
মানে স্যার চেঞ্জ করতে পারবো, সমস্যা হবে না।
Huh?
মানে স্যার
Sir,
চেঞ্জ
আমি-
করতে পারবো।
This is a very valid question.
Yes,
I
sir, আমি
appreciate
যদি
this
P2N অ্যাজিউম করি
Yeah,
স্যার
I
এবং
can
যদি
assume
ভ্যালুটা
I
যদি
can
পজিটিভ হয় তার মানে
assume
দ্য ডায়োড ইজ
I1
অন।
the opposite direction. Let's say if I could, in fact, I could assume.
স্যার লেকচার ভিডিওতে মিডলে একটা ডায়োড ছিল এরকম
Let's say I assume. Let's say I assume if I want this direction. If anyone does that, would they be wrong?
No, sir, just it will be N to P direction, and the value, if the value comes negative,
Yeah,
then
that's the thing.
that's the differ.
That's the difference. We have to wait till the final calculation. Okay. So, okay, let's say this is how I assumed, but if you want to do the problems, you can assume in your own way. So let's assume all the diodes are on, and if all the diodes are on, we are going to replace the diode 0.7. So let's do it on the same circuit. So I 0.7. Don't get confused with this one. It's nothing. Again, we have (0.7), and again we have 0.7. So you notice the polarity? 0.7 volt.
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন।
Yeah.
স্যার সাপোজ আমি রিভার্স ধরলাম যে এন থেকে পিতে যাবে, তখন আমরা যখন এভাবে লিখবো তখন কি ওটাকে যখন যেহেতু আমরা রিভার্স ধরছি তাহলে কি যখন ক্যালকুলেট করব মানে ডিটারমাইন করার জন্য অ্যাসাম্পশন কি ঠিক ছিল না রং, সেটার জন্য কি ওই পার্টিকুলার ডায়োডটাকে কি ওপেন সার্কিট ধরে করব নাকি জাস্ট
No. I assume all the diodes are on. I assume all the diodes are on.
সাপোজ একটু আগে যেটা হলো যে দুটো অন ধরেছি আর একটা অফ ধরেছি, তো এমন যদি
if I no, whether it comes out to be on or off, it is after the calculation, not before the calculation.
ইয়েস স্যার, অ্যাজাম্পশনটা এমন ধরতে হবে যে সবগুলো হয় অন সবগুলো না হয় অফ, এমন এটাই বলতে চাই।
Assumption ta acha, I don't want to go there. I said that if you can if you assume all the diodes are on and then you solve it, then it will do. But the thing is that you can go for different combinations. So let's say I deliberately avoided that. Okay, let's say, you see when there are two diodes, let's say when there are two diodes in a circuit, like this previous circuit. So this circuit, okay. So if we this circuit, so D1 and D2. By looking at the circuit, can you say if the D1 and D2 is on? Can anyone say? No, no one can say. Unless you do the calculation, you cannot say if whether D1 is on or off, whether D2 is on or off. No one can say. You have, in order to find out the conduction state of each diode, you have to do the whole calculation, then you make the final decisions. So before you start calculating, so there are always possibility. What are the possibility? If there are two diodes, so let's say D1 and D2, so there are four possibility. Either both the diodes are on, Taina? That is one possibility, isn't that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What could be the another possibility?
Both
D1
are
is on, but D2 is off.
Off.
What is the other possibility?
Sir, both off.
Both are off.
D1 is off and D2 is on, and final possibility is that both of them are off. So these are the possible conduction state before you start doing the calculation. But in that, you can accept the last one. You can do this one or this one or this one. But I deliberately avoided these two. I only went for this. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go. But if you want, you can go for D1 on and then D2 off. Amar jodi shomoy thake, I'm going to go. So let's solve this problem considering, let's say D1 is on and D2 is off. ঠিক আছে?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for the time being, let's get back to our problem. So where we assumed all the diodes are on. I didn't go for on-off combination. I'll straight to go to all the diodes are on, and this way I have replaced all the diodes with 0.7. And let's put the sign. So I said it's all really important to put the polarity. And since current is flowing from left hand side to right hand side, so the voltage drop and we assume I3 is flowing from left hand side to right hand side this way, plus, minus, and again minus, plus, and I5 is also flowing from left hand side to right hand side. So does anyone have any questions regarding this polarity? Because this is nothing new. This already, you should learn it from your 201. But yet it's really important. That's why you may have noticed all the time I solve any problem, I deliberately put the sign. Okay?
স্যার I2টা আপওয়ার্ডস হবে না, কারণ আমরা তো অন ধরেছিলাম।
কোনটা?
I2
হ্যাঁ, I2
আপওয়ার্ডস হওয়ার কথা ছিল, কারণ আমরা তো অন ধরেছিলাম।
না এখানে তো কোনো ইয়া নাই, রেজিস্ট্যান্স নাই। রেজিস্ট্যান্স থাকলে তো পোলারিটি রেজিস্ট্যান্স এর অ্যাক্রস।
Yes sir.
So I have only voltage source. Voltage is always fixed, and the voltage drop across resistance depends on the direction of the current. For example, if you have a resistor like this R1, and if the current is flowing in this direction, let's say I, in that case voltage drop will be this. But if the current is flowing, so let's say current is flowing in this direction, the opposite direction, how would you going to put the polarity?
সেটা রিভার্স হয়ে যাবে, পোলারিটি
Not biased. Polarity, voltage polarity should be such that current is flowing from positive to negative. That's the thing. এটাই মনে রাখবেন। Voltage polarity across the resistor should be such that current is flowing from positive to negative. তাহলে দেখেন আমার যদি if I set the polarity, if the voltage polarity is plus minus, the current is flowing from plus to minus. If the voltage polarity across the resistance is plus minus, দেখেন current is flowing from plus to minus. ঠিক আছে? But when it comes to voltage source, it is fixed. So that is positive, this is negative. Or if like this is negative, this is positive. Okay? So now there are 3 loops. So we're going to apply KVL in each loop. And whatever the method you can apply, you can do this. I generally use KVL. So if start KVL from here, go all the way. If I go from minus to plus, the way I go, if you go from low to high, I consider it to be positive. And if I go from high to low, I consider it to be negative. So you can do the opposite one as well. So plus 10 volt. Now I'm going from positive to negative, minus 0.7. Now I'm going from positive to negative, which means minus 8.2 I1. Now I'm going from negative to positive. So plus 0.7. Again, positive to negative, minus 5, 0. Is there anyone who is very quick at calculations? So let me know the value.
Sir, 0.610.
Okay, I1 straight away I got 0.61.
0 milliampere.
Okay, 61 milliampere.
Yes, sir.
So next I apply KVL in the second loop. Right? The second loop, if I apply KVL in the second loop, second start from here. In that case, now how am I going? Low to high. So plus KVL at 2, loop 2. So plus 5. But from here, I go from which direction? High to low. High to low. So minus 0.7. And when applying KVL, I go from plus to minus. So minus 12 I3. And here I go low to high. So plus 0.7 equals to 0. কত আসে? I3 কত আসে?
Sir, 0.417.
কত?
0.417
0.417
milliampere.
milliampere. So I already obtained I1, I already obtained I3. And then I can, if I apply KVL in third loop, so if I apply KVL in third loop, so in that case I'm going to start from here. So I encounter here first plus, so KVL at 3. So minus 0.7 because I go from high to low, and then I go from high to low, minus 10 I5, and low to high plus 5 equals to 0. So কত আসে?
0.43.
0.43 milliampere. Now I already know 3 current component. I need to determine I2 and I3. So in order to determine I2 and I3, I apply KCL at that point. So if I apply KCL at that point, so I1 is entering, I2 is leaving, I3 is leaving. So I can write at I1 equals to I2 plus I3. In that, I mean I1 ও জানি, I3 ও জানি. What is I2 then? কত আসে?
Sir, 0.193
0.
milliampere.
Someone has joined.
0.193.
So I2 is equal to 0.193, and then I4. In order to determine I4, so what do we have? I2, I3 is entering, I4 is entering, and I5 is leaving. So I can write as I3 plus I4 equals to I5. In that I know I5, I know I3. তাহলে I4 কত আসে? I4 কত?
Zero point zero one three.
0.013.
0.013 milliampere. Okay, now have we calculated all the current component? Yeah, I calculated I1, I calculated I3, I calculated I2, I5, and I4. All the current branch currents are calculated. Now is the decision time. Okay, let's make the decision. So in order to make decision, let's use this color. So first of all, I1 0.61 milliampere. I assumed I1 to be flowing from P to N. Now, is that flowing from P to N or N to P?
So P to N.
Yeah, our assumed
is
current
positive.
direction and calculated current direction agrees. So that means this diode must be on. Because the assumed current direction and the calculated current directions are in the same direction. So this diode must be on. So I can say our D1 is on. How about I2? What is the direction we assumed? খেয়াল করে এই জায়গাটা খেয়াল করে দেখেন. What is the direction we assumed?
Sir, N to P.
So N to P.
We assumed the current to be flowing, assumed
N to P.
N to P.
So
But what is the value that we have got?
it's a
I2
positive.
is
So positive.
Sir, P to N value পেয়েছি।
I2 came to be positive or negative?
It's positive.
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 So
Positive.
what does positive means? তার মানে হচ্ছে our assumed current direction and
Of.
the calculated current directions are in the
Opposite way.
Opposite.
no minus থাকলে opposite হতো.
Sir, assume to N to P. আর
হ্যাঁ।
value হচ্ছে positive. তো ওটা P to
Positive
N
তার
না।
মানে P2N হবে কেন?
স্যার D2 তো হলো ওপেন সার্কিট।
হ্যাঁ, তার মানে হচ্ছে খেয়াল করে দেখেন, we assume the current to be flowing from N to P, and then after the calculation when are going to say that it would be opposite? যখন আমার নেগেটিভ আসতো তখন না বলতাম অপোজিট আসছে। আমার কি নেগেটিভ আসছে?
No, sir.
No,
So we have
sir.
a positive value. তার মানে হচ্ছে our calculated current direction and assumed current direction same. So that means this current is flowing from N to P. So it is not possible for current to flow from N to P. What does that mean? D2 is what?
Off.
Off. বুঝা গেছে or still confusion?
না স্যার বুঝতে পারছি স্যার।
Okay, finally I4. So what is I4? What is our assumed current direction for I4?
Sir, P to
I4
N.
P to N we assumed. Now what is the sign for the current, calculated current?
It's positive.
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 What does that mean?
I mean the diode
It
is
agrees, है ना?
Diode on.
Agrees. Current on. So D3 on. So which means in our circuit, what we have found, we have D1 and D4, D3 are on, but D5, D2 is what?
Off.
So if I can write, so D1, D2, D3 on, off, and on. So this is our final conduction state after doing the calculation. But initially আমরা কি assume করেছিলাম?
it's a D2 on.
initially assumed all the diodes are on.
All the diodes are on.
But
Yes.
after the calculation, we found out no, not all the diodes are on. D1 is on, D3 is on, but not D2. So this is how I can determine the conduction state of the diode, the conduction state of the diode.
Sir,
Yes.
if we are asked to only determine the conduction state, তাহলে তো আমাদের ম্যাথ এখানেই শেষ। আমাদের রিড্র করা লাগবে।
Very good thing. You don't need to do any further. But if you are asked to determine, let's say you are asked to determine, let's say, you know, I1, I2, all the up to I4, I5. So আমাকে আরো করতে হবে। তখন
রিড্র করে
আবার
টিউবি সার্কিট
হ্যাঁ।
দেওয়া লাগবে D2।
Exactly. So let's do this. Okay. Okay, so now I know that D2 is off. That means if I redraw it, considering D2 is off, that means our assumption is wrong. Our assumption ki right chilo na wrong chilo?
স্যার রং
বলেন
ছিল।
তো?
Wrong ছিল।
Wrong chilo. Because we assumed all the diodes are on, but no,
On.
we didn't find that all diodes are on. Assumption is wrong. So if I redraw the circuit considering according to the conduction state of the diodes, this is on. This is off. This is on. So that means 10 volt, 0.7, 8.2, then 12K, 0.7, 10K, 5 volt. So তার মানে হচ্ছে number 1 হচ্ছে our I2 is what? I2 is equal to, the first thing that I have to do is that I2 is 0, তাই না? Since the diode is off, I2 is equal to
0.
0. And then we had I1, I2, and this is I3. What does that mean?
Sir, I1 equals to I3.
I3. And this is our I4, and this is our I5. So that you can solve it. I'm not going to solve it. Okay, so that's the thing after redrawing the circuit. So তার মানে হচ্ছে, so if I go back, so the thing is that if you are asked to determine the conduction state of the diode alone, so you're going to do that part, this part. But if you are asked to determine the current at each branch, the real current, then you have to modify the circuit according to the conduction state that you have obtained and solve it. Okay. Okay, and I just skip that, so I leave it to you. It will be very simple. What you have to do, whatever they replace the diode with 0.7, 0.7, then accordingly you determine the current, and then you're going to check if the current, you see, if the current, so you see if the current is flowing from P side to N side. So D3 check P to N, and again D4 check P to N. So if it is P to N, the diode is on. If it is N to P, diode is off. Then it's as simple as that. Okay, so next let's do this one. Let's try to do this one. So we said that, so determine the conduction state of the diode in the following circuit, assuming that the diode is off. So we assume this diode is off. Okay, so if I assume this diode is off, first of all we complete the circuit. Since the diode is off, we replace the diode with open circuit. Okay, so I just go straight. So this is 16 volt, and then we have got a DC voltage source here. Someone was saying, what is V2? V2 is measured with respect to ground. V1 is 16, R2 is 2K, so 2K, 2K, and 2K, 5K. So we assume the diode is off. We are going for off assumption. তার মানে হচ্ছে this current is 0. Okay. So now, what types of circuit it has become? Isn't that a simple DC circuit?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to, can you solve it?
Yes, sir. Applying loop, sir.
Okay. So you can, say how many loops are there? 1, 2, 3 loops.
3 loops.
You can apply KVL here. You can apply KVL in this loop, and finally you apply KVL in this loop. So if you apply KVL, then you're going to get current at different branch. And then what you have to do, you have to justify. Once you have calculated all the current, let's say you calculated this current through, let's say current to this, current to this, current to this, everywhere you determine all the currents. And then you have to justify. What is the thing that you have to justify? You have to justify that you assume the diode is off and you have to justify if the diode is indeed off or on. How can you justify? You need to check the P side
VP
voltage.
minus VN.
You have to determine VP, you have to determine VN. So this is our VN, VP. So you have to determine VP, you have to determine VN, and then if you find it is greater than 0.7, then your diode is what? On. And if it is on, our assumption is
Wrong.
If VP minus VN is less than 0.7 volt, our assumption is
Right.
right. তাহলে আপনি এখন এই টার্মিনাল ভোল্টেজ কি করবেন? Let's say this current is I1, okay, and this current is, let's say, I2. So how can you determine VP? So if we apply, আমি just KVL টা দেখিয়ে দিচ্ছি. If we apply a KVL starting from here, either starting from here or starting from here, so let's say we go apply KVL starting from ground all the way this point. Didn't we say that? So let's say minus plus, let's say the current is flowing from this direction, plus minus. So what will be the VP? VP will be, if I start making KVL starting from here, so plus V1 minus I1 2 equals to VP. Now I want to determine VN. So VN is what? VN is this terminal voltage. And let's say the current is flowing is I2. This is our I2 and flowing in this direction. Okay. So if I start KVL from the ground and from till this point, so since current is flowing from top to bottom, আমরা কি বলেছিলাম? ভোল্টেজ পোলারিটি কি হবে? এটা প্লাস, এটা
মাইনাস।
মাইনাস, তাই না? The current, the direction of the current tells us the voltage, the polarity of the voltage across the resistor. But we are doing the cable starting from ground. So if I'm doing the cable starting from ground, what is the first sign that you are encountering?
So minus.
Minus. That means if I'm going
High.
from low to high. So if a plus I2 5K equals to our Vn. So I know Vp, I know Vn. So after this, putting this value, whatever the thing that you find, if it is greater than 0.7, it is on. If it is greater than, less than 0.7, it is
Sir.
Yes.
স্যার ভিপিটা কি আমরা যে পাথ 2 দিয়ে আর মেজার করতে পারি না, লাইক 2K দিয়ে?
হ্যাঁ, এনি পাথ। শুনেন যে মানে কেভিএল হচ্ছে এনি ভোল্টেজ এট এনি পার্টিকুলার পয়েন্ট ইজ অলওয়েজ ফিক্সড। আপনি এখন যে পথ দিয়ে যান না কেন, ইউ ক্যান টেক দিস পাথ, ইউ ক্যান টেক দিস পাথ। আপনার যদি খুব বেশি এনার্জি থাকে, ইউ ক্যান অলসো স্টার্ট ফ্রম হিয়ার। কেউ নিষেধ করবে না।
ওকে স্যার।
So it would be like, you know, eating rice, you know, putting your head behind your head, but still it will be okay.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
ঠিক আছে? So, I don't have enough time. It's a third problem. Okay, third problem, what I'm going to do, I'm going to solve it and post it, the video. Is that all right?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough time, so I'll just stop it.